Never once, ever, did they beat breadcrumb. Never once.
Say that again then, Bill, because that was interesting what you said then.
I built a garden pond.
Yeah.
It would only be about maybe 6 foot. So, me and Ray Mills used to sit there. So our floats would be maybe 5 foot apart. I would feed breadcrumb. Ray would feed whatever was fashionable.
Fashionable, yeah.
Oh, don't forget, these things were just coming in.
Right, okay.
A lot of people don't know, but the census contract with Trevor Tomlin was actually signed at my house.
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What year was that? Do you remember roughly?
Oh, bugger. No.
No, okay. No, because...
We'd all heard of census.
Yeah.
But Trevor took on the contract, and the guy came over from France. We had the meeting round my house, and I always remember it. He had a briefcase that was perspex, and it was all partitioned.
Was it? Yeah.
And in each partition, he'd got all sorts of things, you know. It was like an Indian restaurant, basically. With you could have made a bloody good curry out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I had serious misgivings about it, whether it would work or not. But Trev Tomlin then took on the contract to distribute census on that night around my house.
Was it really?
In England, yeah.
Because Downsy got involved as well then. At the
But he worked for Trevor.
Oh, he worked for Trevor?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Trevor anyway?
I don't know.
No, he sort of disappeared.
Well, he controlled census. Then, of course, he made the catapult.
Yeah.
Without me knowing, he used my picture on
Did he?
on all the catapults.
Well, with no royalties.
He was a friend, so it didn't really matter.
But you probably know, Billy, I started making groundbait back in the late 80s because back home we couldn't get continental groundbaits, and of course when we fish abroad, when we fish all these continental, all the international matches, they were bringing out all these like super duper special groundbaits, we thought.
Yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, the British angler only ever used breadcrumb.
That's all.
You know, and
I would never say that there is no attractant.
Yeah. Well,
I've not found. I found it for perch.
yeah.
Dry perch crazy.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a fluke, but on the article I wrote about. I used to love reading Richard Walker's article.
Yeah.
Dick Walker.
Yeah.
And I'd only be a kid, and he told the story. He had an aquarium with perch in it. He got a bucket of water, and he dropped a lobworm in. Left it for a few minutes, stirred the water around, then put a couple of drops in his aquarium, and the perch went crazy. So you're looking at, parts per million.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The perch detected it.
Yeah.
And they were going crazy looking for food. So yes, it is possible to put something in groundbait that is a fish attractant.
Right. In my studies, I kept fish for like 20 odd years, right? And I know that a lot of fish do feed when there's certain amino acids in the water.
Yes.
So, which is...
That's probably what the lobworm was emitting.
Yeah.
But the conclusion I came to in my little pool was whatever we mixed in with, say, raised groundbait, as opposed to my just normal breadcrumb, the fish took it on as like a pollutant in the water, not an attractant.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe it's because he was a confined space.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, as you know, with all my groundbaits, I talk about this because I got a website and I talk about where attractants, as well as this, amino acids, but it's more on visual. A lot of fish, if the groundbait sort of effervescence, fizzes, is more an attraction than the actual smell sometimes. So I don't know if you ever come across that. Maybe not.
Occasionally, when we used to fish the bread, we'd mix milk.
Right. Okay.
Which would put the clothing with the ground
Yeah,
bait.
but, you know, I can honestly say some of the best bags I've ever had have always been on loose feed. Even though I sell ground bait, I know it's a terrible thing to say, but you know.
Well, what I also tell in this article, I had a very big aquarium in my house.
Yeah.
And if I got, say, 20, 30 pinkies, drop them in one side, the fish would graze.
Yeah.
They'd swim there, they'd pick up one and then swim round.
Yeah.
And then, as an experiment, I'd put the 20, 30 pinkies in one side of the aquarium, and then I'd go to the other side, and I would drop one in, say, every 10, 20 seconds. And every fish in the aquarium went to the side where the bait was falling down. They were now competing.
Yeah. So,
Now they could have swum to the other side and eaten whatever they wanted to. They didn't want
they
to.
didn't want to, that's right.
They got the shoal instinct to compete.
Exactly, and this has always been my theory.
Which is what you just
and
exactly reinforces what you've just said.
And that's why I make my ground baits on a very similar vein.
Yes.
To be honest with you, yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
And people used to say, well, we're gudgeon fishing, the bottom feeders, put 3 or 4 big balls of ground bait down. If you sit next to them and you trickle a little bit in every time, even a bottom feeder like a gudgeon, which is a shoal fish, and it's programmed to compete
It is.
for food.
It's all about competing, yeah.
Straight away, he's competing for whatever is falling down. He's not competing for what is on the bottom.
Exactly, yeah.
And that is the way I always conducted my gudgeon fishing.
So
I always kept something going through the water at all times.
Yeah, and it's the same with most fish, so that's a big lesson for everyone who's watching this one.
Except bream.
They're great.
It doesn't work for bream. Bream are grazers. And even when they're in the shoal fish, as a shoal, they're not competing. They're swimming around, grazing as and when they want to.
Yeah.
So dropping it through the water does not work for bream.
Yeah. Well,
it's the only species I know that it doesn't work for.
Well, you know, most of my ground bait, I mix certain ground baits with species of fish, and that is exactly what you're telling me now. With all years experience, is exactly what I do with my ground baits. I make certain ground baits for roach, certain ground baits for bream, and you know, one will effervesce and the other won't.
Yes.
And that's exactly, you know, and I'm glad I got somebody like, you know, obviously with your experience to actually confirm everything that I do is correct.
Well, you got something right anyway.
Cheeky son.